I'm at risk of becoming a DC Comics shill channel. If you watched my last few videos on the topic, I loved the All-In special. Thought Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson and the artist did a great job. I loved the Treasury editions they've been putting out of the old Superman stuff. Now, these are classic reprints with like work by Neil Adams and Gary Conway and the like. So, of course, I'm going to love those books. I already have loved those books. I just like the nice oversized reprintings, which make me happy as general. But there's a couple other books which have been crazy, and there's new announcement is insane if it's true. They really are all in, and they really are just doing a great job. Now, all of this pretty much has to do with just Batman stuff. They're not building enough hype for the other titles, which is really the problem DC Comics has at the moment. Batman sells, everything else just rides in the dust. And I probably would have deployed the team elsewhere, but we'll get into the news in just a moment, and we'll talk about a couple other big W's that DC's racked up recently. Good stuff. I mean, I'm having fun with comics. I'm excited. I like being excited for comics. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things comics. This is the JDA Talks Comics channel, and I just launched my new book, The Emerald Array, today. Kickstarter banned this and banned me because they don't like my discussion of comics here. They are scared because we are producing such good comics, and we're doing it at a clip that actually competes with the mainstream industry. It's the one thing that they don't want and they can't have getting out. So they tried to hamstring us today. But we just launched this morning, 93 backers. Holy crap. And thank you guys for being there and supporting us. Love to get to 100 on the first launch. This is a Space Marine comic book, and it's really inspired by the Jack Kirby stuff from the 70s, like back to DC Comics, the New Gods kind of vibe. I mean, if you scroll down and you look at the interior pages, you can see that we actually honored that, did a line art that's in the style of Kirby, and on top of that, did colors that would have matched like kind of the time period and kind of gave a retro look to it as well. We wanted to do this for the Space Marine comic because we just thought it looks awesome, and it does. And I wanted to give a different vibe than other things out there that are kind of in the military science fiction genres that you've seen before. So we've got this. It's awesome. It's, Space Marines fight the bugs. You can't get cooler than that. All the Space Marines are men, no female Space Marines, strong male leads, and it is in the description below. You're going to love this. Thank you guys so much for the support. Get us to 100 backers today, and tell your friends about this great comic. All right, so we got some news from DC Comics, and I'm going to hold it, guys. I'm going to review a couple comics first. I trick everybody into watching me make comic reviews. This is Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. And Jeph Loeb teamed with Eduardo Risso to do a 10-part series, which is like a murder mystery again, much like the original Long Halloween with Tim Sale. They did a beautiful trilogy of books, and I read them in Absolute Edition, reviewed them on the channel. You can't replace Tim Sale's art, and this doesn't replace Tim Sale's art. It does. When I read this first issue, it had a lot of the elements of the old Long Halloween kind of series in there with the mobsters that had appeared in the books before. In this one, Batman and Robin are more solidified as a team, and you could see them start to build that relationship there as something crazy happens toward the end of this with Two-Face, and that starts off the first issue. Now, I'm going to wait for trade of the rest of it. I read the first issue just so I could talk about it here a little bit and be informed about it, but I really think the Jeph Loeb stuff works better in trade, and I'm going to just wait till the whole thing comes out to read it all in one shot. It'll feel better that way, but again, this is a good move as the All-In stuff comes out. Another really solid comic on the Batman front. So we got this, Absolute Batman. Word on the street is it's pretty good, even though it's got the weird logo. I kind of trust Scott Snyder, especially with what he set up with the DC All-In thing. So there's new Batman news coming up, and it's like, wow, they're really going all in on Batman. The other characters, what's happening with that? Now, Action Comics just ran a Gail Simone 3-shot. From Action 1076 to 1079. I also picked that up this week. And Superman is basically sent into like some alien MMA fight. And this is interesting because I just read the Superman versus Muhammad Ali where he's doing a fight there. I don't know if Gail was inspired by that or not. But this one was a lot of fun over 3 parts. I really enjoyed it. And it really worked very well. And Gail Simone did a wonderful Superman versus Aliens book as well. Eddie Barrows is a classic artist as well. I enjoy his art. So this was a good 3-part run. I enjoyed it. I would have liked more of it, and I know that's starting something new with the All In or whatever, and this just kind of ended. The backup stories by Rainbow Rowell and whoever the artist was on that, not nearly as good. I didn't enjoy that. I thought that was Tumblr tier. Really, they should have just skipped doing backups on this. But the main Gail Simone stuff, excellent storyline once again. So DC's impressed me a bunch of times this last month, and they're going to continue to impress me with this scoop from Bleeding Cool, which is the main event here, guys. Jim Lee and Jeph Loeb to return to an ongoing Batman comic in 2025. Now, I'm going to pause this right here for an ongoing, because we know Jim Lee's going to last like 6 to 12 issues. They'll call it ongoing, but there's no way he's going to just keep going and do Batman over and over and over again. Now, Jeph Loeb might continue on. He might not. But there's no way, like I said, Jim Lee keeps up that much art. I've never seen him do it. And so, of course, he did the Hush saga, which was a lot of fun. Beautiful art, beautiful story. I really enjoyed, actually, the Jim Lee's storyline with Brian Azzarello that he did on Superman for a bit. But like I said, he usually lasts for about 12 issues, so I will temper it right there. So I'm glad that the Chip Zdarsky thing is going to be knocked off, because his run has been terrible. It's been pretty much unreadable, and it is time to get some fresh blood, which I guess is old blood at this point, on here. Now, they're talking about this starting in March or April 2025. They're expected to return in November, December, with the increased schedule of Chip's run to get it out the door. Then schedules changed again. Jim Lee's been drawing the comic books since spring. A number of issues have already been completed because he wanted to get well ahead. Now they would like to get a few more under the belt so we won't have problems with Jim Lee being late. Late books. And yeah, that is a problem that always happens. Whether this gets a new Batman #1 or not, I don't know. I would. I mean, if I was DC Comics, I 100% would. It'll make way more money if they do, and of course they do. And then I don't think it's going to be a ongoing. I think it'll be labeled an ongoing, and I think it'll be about 12 issues personally. That's going to be my estimate right here. But getting Jim Lee back in the art saddle is really all in. When they mentioned this before, I told you in the marketing, they are out of ideas. They're scared for their comics. They really don't see things selling. They see the events this summer, Absolute Power just cratered. Nothing really except for Batman ever busts into the top 20 for DC Comics at this point. It's really, really sad. I really think they need to put some of their top talent on Green Lantern and put it on Superman and really boost those books, because they need a line. DC has Batman and then everything else, like I said. But this is pretty good for generating hype. I mean, having Jeph Loeb doing 2 comics at this point, the Long Halloween sequel, which is, of course, something that will obviously sell, and then doing something with Jim Lee to follow up on Hush. I mean, it's like, this is a greatest hits deal. And then you got Absolute Batman, like I said. I think you've got a pretty solid Batman line for a while. But what about the other books? I mean, I've seen some pretty not exciting things going on. It just seems like a shuffling of the deck with Tom Taylor and Tom King, the Toms, over and over and over again. And then you throw Kelly Thompson onto Absolute Wonder Woman, something that I'm just not excited about. It just doesn't look good for the rest of the line still. I just don't know if is the talent base just is there no depth to it? Is there nobody else who could come in and fill those roles? I don't know at this juncture. But at least this is going. Like I said, at risk of being a DC shill channel at this point, I'm pretty excited for what I'm seeing on the Batman level. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Are you going to read this? I am 100% going to read this. Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee, I'm in. I really am. Hit the like and subscribe button, my friends, and please check out the Emerald Array right here. This is a wonderful military science fiction book. You're going to absolutely love this. Like I said, given a Jack Kirby Fourth World vibe from the 70s art-wise. The story is just classic science fiction. Going to be so much fun. Check it out. It's in the description below. Get us to 100 backers today. Too hot for Kickstarter. This is the spot for independent comics. I appreciate you being there.